Imagine a world where your deepest secrets are no longer your own, a reality where every fleeting thought, every hidden desire, every unspoken judgment is laid bare for all to see. This isn't a distant fantasy. It's a chilling possibility looming closer than we dare to admit. What if the very sanctuary of your mind, your last bastion of privacy, could be invaded? What if your internal monologue became public knowledge, accessible to anyone with the right technology? The implications are not just profound, they are catastrophic. Today, we delve into 5 societal disasters that could unfold if mind-reading technology becomes a widespread reality. These aren't mere hypotheticals. They are stark warnings of a future we must confront. Prepare to question everything you thought you knew about human existence. The rapid advancements in brain-computer interfaces, like those pioneered by Neuralink and similar ventures, are pushing the boundaries of what's possible. We are moving beyond science fiction, entering an era where direct access to the human mind is no longer just a dream, but a tangible goal. This video serves as a critical warning, not a celebration of technological prowess. It's a stark look at the precipice upon which humanity stands. The power to decode thoughts, once unleashed, could reshape our world in ways we can barely comprehend. The true danger lies not just in the technology itself, but in its potential to fall into the wrong hands. Who would control access to our minds? What would be the cost of such unprecedented power? These are questions we must answer before it's too late. The first and most immediate casualty of widespread mind-reading technology would be privacy itself. Our personal space, once defined by the impenetrable walls of our own consciousness, would simply vanish. Every thought, no matter how fleeting or insignificant, would become public domain. Imagine a legal system where thought crimes are not just theoretical, but actionable offenses. A momentary flicker of anger, a passing judgment, or an unconventional idea could lead to severe repercussions. The very concept of internal freedom would be eradicated. Governments and corporations would wield unprecedented surveillance capabilities. Employers could monitor the loyalty and productivity of their staff by directly accessing their thoughts. Every interaction would be filtered through the lens of absolute transparency. We would be held accountable for every single thought, even those we immediately dismiss or regret. The constant pressure to maintain a perfectly acceptable internal monologue would be unbearable. Authenticity would become a dangerous luxury. The bedrock of human connection is built on trust, intimacy, and the unspoken. Mind-reading technology would shatter these foundations, leading to the complete collapse of meaningful relationships. How can trust exist when every secret is exposed? Imagine knowing every critical thought your partner has ever had about you, every fleeting attraction, every moment of doubt. The raw, unfiltered truth of another's mind would be an unbearable burden, destroying the delicate balance of intimacy. Friendships would crumble under the weight of absolute honesty. The small, often negative, thoughts we all have about others, usually kept private, would become undeniable facts. Love and companionship, as we know them, would cease to exist. Families would become strained beyond repair. The unspoken resentments, the hidden disappointments, the true feelings behind polite smiles would all be revealed. The bonds that hold us together would unravel in a storm of unwanted truths. Our global economy, for all its complexity, relies heavily on uncertainty and the strategic withholding of information. Mind-reading technology would destabilize this intricate system, leading to an unprecedented economic collapse. The very nature of commerce would be undone. Imagine a stock market where every investor's intentions and every company's true financial state are instantly known. The element of surprise, the speculation, the calculated risk-taking that drives markets would vanish. This would trigger immediate and catastrophic crashes. Business negotiations would become obsolete. There would be no leverage, no hidden agendas, no room for strategic maneuvering when every thought is transparent. Advertising, built on persuasion and suggestion, would lose all efficacy. The entire economic structure, from trade secrets to consumer behavior, is predicated on a degree of mental privacy. Without it, the intricate dance of supply and demand, competition and innovation, would grind to a halt. The global economy would simply cease to function. The principles of justice, built on actions and evidence, would be fundamentally overturned by mind-reading technology. The focus would shift from what a person did to what they thought or might think. This redefinition of crime is terrifying. Individuals could be punished for future crimes before they even have a chance to act. A fleeting thought of malice, a hypothetical plan, could be enough to condemn someone. The presumption of innocence would become a relic of a bygone era. The very concept of a fair trial would be meaningless. How do you defend against a thought? How do you prove intent when every internal deliberation is laid bare? The legal system would transform into an Orwellian nightmare. We would see the emergence of thought crimes, where individuals are simultaneously the victim of their own minds and the perpetrator of an internal offense. The line between intention and action would blur, creating an inescapable web of culpability. Perhaps the most insidious disaster would be the psychological toll on individuals. The constant, inescapable awareness that one's thoughts are not private would lead to widespread mental collapse. The human psyche is not built for such exposure. Imagine the pervasive anxiety of knowing every internal struggle, every insecurity, every dark impulse is visible to others. The pressure to maintain a facade of perfect thoughts would be immense, leading to chronic stress and paranoia. This constant mental burden would inevitably lead to widespread mental illnesses. Depression, anxiety disorders, and even psychosis could become epidemic as individuals struggle to cope with the loss of their inner sanctuary. The human spirit would buckle. The fear of accountability for one's thoughts would lead to a chilling suppression of free thought itself. Creativity, dissent, and independent thinking would be stifled. We would become a society of carefully curated, bland internal monologues, devoid of true originality. These 5 potential disasters paint a grim picture of a future where mind-reading technology reigns supreme. The death of privacy, the collapse of relationships, economic ruin, a perverted justice system, and mass mental illness are not just possibilities. They are logical conclusions. Which of these terrifying scenarios do you find most dangerous? Which one keeps you awake at night? Is there any benefit, any convenience, that could possibly outweigh these profound risks? Would you willingly embrace a technology that strips away your innermost self? Would you allow your thoughts to be scanned, analyzed, and judged? Or do you believe the sanctity of the mind is a boundary that should never be crossed? What solutions, if any, could possibly mitigate these challenges? How do we protect the last frontier of human freedom? These are not questions for scientists alone. They are questions for all of humanity. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know which disaster you fear most and what steps you believe we should take. This conversation is vital, and your voice matters. In our next episode, we will explore potential ways to safeguard our thoughts, to build a mental firewall against this encroaching future. Until then, guard your mind, for it is the last true wilderness.